Hello and welcome to Spardha Lines, your one-stop destination for the civil services preparation, UPSC, KPSC and other state level examination. Today we will try and understand a couple of important articles from the Hindu which are important both from your pre as well as your mains perspective. Let's get started and look into the first article. The first article is speaking about G20 summit. The G20 summit is an important topic from your GS paper to international relations perspective. What we had was the G20 summit, which was organized in India and has concluded with the declaration called as the New Delhi Declaration. What is this G20 summit? Why was it into picture? What was the original intent of G20? What was happening in Delhi? Why did China not participate in it? And couple of other discussions with respect to G20. We will be releasing an elaborate video very shortly, and you will be able to understand everything about G20 and the New Delhi Declaration. For now, all that you have to do is stop this article from reading. Don't read this article. We will come up with an elaborate, comprehensive news analysis only with respect to this topic in the future discussions. We will have a couple of editorials and columns as well. We will take them all, club them together, and as of now, keep it on hold till we have an elaborate discussion. So we will discuss about G20 in the subsequent sessions. The second important topic is with respect to the earthquakes. This can be important from your pre as well as your mains examination perspective, GS paper 1 geography concept. What we have to understand is that Morocco recently has witnessed earthquake. There are more than 2,100 deaths that have occurred in Morocco. So the point to have understood is, why has this happened in Morocco? What is the difference between shallow and deep earthquakes? First, we have to understand that there are more than 2,100 people who have passed away. This is one of the greatest hit earthquakes that has happened to Morocco in the recent times. Why has this occurred? That is because of two important factors. One is what is called as the shallow earthquake. The second is what is called as the plate tectonic theory. What is the shallow earthquakes? When it comes to the earthquakes, there are two types of earthquakes. One is what is called as the shallow earthquake. The other is what is called as the deep earthquake. In order to understand what is a shallow earthquake and deep earthquake, we have to understand the meaning of epicenter as well. Where is the epicenter of this Morocco? Where is the epicenter of the Morocco earthquakes? The epicenter happens to be in one of the places called as Igil. Igil happens to be a place which is present in Morocco, and it happens to be the epicenter. What is the epicenter of an earthquake? An epicenter of an earthquake is that particular point or that particular region or a place or a focus point at which the earthquake could have originated. So it is at that particular moment where you have the waves that have passed from this epicenter. So it is the focus point. It is at this particular point that the earthquakes would have moved. When it comes to earthquakes, there are two types of earthquakes. One is what is called a shallow earthquake. The other is what is called as deep earthquake as well. We also have the intermediate, but in most of the conventions and the geographical concept, we only make use of shallow earthquake and the deep earthquake. What is the shallow earthquake? Generally, as I told you, what you have is the epicenter. It is at that particular point from which you have the waves that originate, and it starts disturbing and moving from one place to another. When it comes to the shallow earthquake, what happens when the earthquake happens significantly from the crust, that is at the top layer, from 0 to 70 kilometer, that is what is called as shallow earthquakes. So whenever there is a shallow earthquakes, the waves reach the surface of the earth very easily at a very faster pace. So when it comes to these shallow earthquakes, what happens? The epicenter from the point, it reaches the surface of the earth in a very short period of time. And if it is a deep earthquake, the deep earthquake is where it would have happened at beyond 100 kilometer. So by the time it reaches the surface, then the energy would have got lost as well. So what happens in shallow earthquake? In shallow earthquake, you have the energy that reaches the surface of the earth as soon as possible, because the distance at the point of origination to the distance of the crust or the upper surface is comparatively less, And when it comes to the deep earthquakes, since there is a significant difference or a distance from the center to the surface, the amount of time taken to reach the surface would be far in nature. It would be very long as well, and as a result, by the time it reaches from the center to the surface, the energy would have lost, and as a result, the earthquake impact will be minimal. So in shallow earthquakes, because the distance is less, the impact would be more. In deep earthquakes, because the distance is more, the impact would be far less. This is important because when it comes to the Morocco earthquake, what we have seen in the present situation happens to be a shallow earthquake. This is the first important parameter. The second important parameter is with respect to the plate tectonics theory. We recently had earthquake that happened in Turkey as well. When it comes to Turkey, what we saw was horizontal. So you had plates on one side. So what you had was a friction between plates on the horizontal side. Then what we also have is the vertical movement. What is this vertical movement? It is one particular plate which is moving in this direction. So when the plate moves in the vertical direction, that is called as the vertical earthquake, which means to say there is one plate hitting the other plate in the north to south direction or from the south towards the north. But when it comes to the horizontal, it happens on the horizontal level. There is friction on the sideways as shown in this particular image. But in the Morocco, that is in the present situation where there is an earthquake in Morocco, what happened? You have the Eurasian plate and you also have the African plate as well. So what has happened in the present situation is you have the African plate which is going and hitting the Eurasian plate. Since there is the hit that is occurring, the plate tectonics theory occurring, there is a plate that is hitting, that is African plate is moving towards the Eurasian plate. As a result, there is significant impact which has caused the Moroccan earthquake. So whenever there is the vertical or the movement on a south to north basis, that is what could create this earthquake. When it comes to India, what exactly happens? We have the Himalayan mountains. We also have the Mount Everest as well. What is in India? In India, Delhi and regions in the north also face seismic activities. We have also seen in 2015 as well, Nepal faced one of the largest earthquakes that we could ever see. Why? That is because we have the Indian plate which goes and hits the Eurasian plate. So in the present situation, what we have is the vertical movement of the African plate towards the Eurasian plate, and when that hit occurs, when there is fault disturbance that occurs, that has what is led to the present Moroccan earthquake. So on one side it is a shallow earthquake, which means it is from the center to reach the surface, it is a very short distance and the energy has not dropped and it goes and reaches the surface as soon as possible. Because it is a shallow earthquake, significant damage has occurred, people have passed away, and now you have the African plate which is moving towards the Eurasian plate. We have the Indian plate which is moving towards the Eurasian plate. This movement from the south to the north is what is leading to this particular earthquake, and as a result, Morocco has seen one of the major devastations that it could ever encounter. So what we have is this particular movement, and these two plates are converging at a rate of 4.9 mm per year. Since there is the movement and this movement is about 4.9 mm per year, this has caused significant damage to Morocco. So this article primarily is speaking about the Morocco earthquake where there has been a significant damage. It is these two parameters that you have to understand with respect to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article here is speaking about dark patterns in the e-commerce sector. Imagine that you want to buy something. There was a time where you had to enter a shop. There was a time where you had to physically go to a mall and buy your products. Let's say you are a fan of a particular product. You had to go there and buy the product. If you stay in any of the major cities, let's say in Delhi, Bombay, Mumbai or in Bengaluru, you had to go through these long traffic as well. That was quite irritating, right? And now of late, what you have is the e-commerce. So you have to do is click the mouse, go to that particular website, order whatever you want from any corner of the country as well as the world. It is a simple thing. What happens on e-commerce? You like a product or you want a service, so all that you have to do is place your order on this e-commerce, and ultimately that product will get delivered to you. So with the penetration of the mobile technology as well, we are able to buy every product that we wish to buy on the online website from any part of the country as well as any part of the world. But when it comes to the e-commerce technology and the online technology, there are also relevant problems as well. And one such problem that we have is what is called as the dark pattern. What is this dark pattern? Dark pattern occurs online when a user is tricked to perform a behavior that they don't want to do, they find it difficult to do, aren't aware of what they are doing. Let me explain this with the help of an example. Let's say, for example, you go on an online website. Your intention was to buy a book. Let's say, for example, you want to buy the Constitution of India Bare Act. Or let's say, for example, you want to buy NCERTs for geography. Or let's say, for example, you want to watch a video. Let's say, for example, you want to buy a product. This particular product is only to do with books, or you want to buy a clothing, let's say a Puma brand jacket or something like that. So what exactly happens? You go on a website and you actually want to buy only this particular product, but you are tricked to buy some other product which you originally did not want to buy this product. So you did not know that you are being tricked on an online platform to buy something else which you did not initially want to. That is what is called as the dark pattern. So a dark pattern on an e-commerce website or on an online basically means that your intention was to buy a particular product, but you're being tricked, but you're being deceived. You are asked, you become the bait on an online platform where you buy a product which you initially did not intend to, and you go ahead and buy this particular product which you did not intend to because of the tricks of the online platform, because of the tricks of the website, because they are able to read your mind, because they've understood the psychology of a human being, and as a result this dark pattern has become a major problem to the younger generations. Why are we discussing about it? That is because an Advertising Standards Council of India report in 2021 estimated that over 50% of the e-commerce sites use dark patterns to sell their products. Now, in what is truly the era of fourth industrial revolution, net technology giants have systematically collected the behavioral footprint of digital users to sell their or third-party products. This is creating a large-scale problems to couple of people. Let's say, for example, there is a child, let's say it wants to buy a toy. The parent does not know that the credit card is being used by that particular child, and what does the child do? It goes and it wants to only buy a product, but the child is tricked to buy other set of products, and the next minute the child also has the mobile, it also gets the OTP as well, it is automated, and then the bill that comes to the mobile and to the parent with respect to the credit card sharing is far exorbitant, and the parent is usually shocked at the misery that it has gone through. Added to it, let's say for example, there is a particular way that you are made to navigate. You would have not wanted to navigate in that particular direction. All that you came was to buy a particular product and push off immediately. But the dark pattern is designed in such a way that you are made to navigate in a specific way, and this could ultimately lead to you buying more products. So what are the ways and means in which these products are being sold? Let's take some of the examples. There is an example of false urgency. What is this false urgency? Let's say you visit a particular website. This website has a lot of products, but how does it showcase? It showcases that this particular product will get over in another 1 hour. So you are made to buy this product within 1 hour, or the minute you visit the website, you are made to buy this product, that this is the last product that is present on the website, despite they having couple of products of the same quality and of the same service provider, what they do, they say that this is the last product that is available on the website, and at the same time it is this product which will end in another 5 minutes, the offer will end in another 5 minutes, you have to buy the product in 5 minutes. That is what is called as false urgency. That is an example of a dark pattern. Despite having n number of products, despite having the same quality and the brand, they make you buy this product within 5 minutes or within 2 minutes or within a prescribed time limit. That is what is called as the false urgency. As shown in the image, you will have one of the buttons which is prominently shown to you. Let's say for example, add basket with insurance. Ideally, you should have clicked on this add to basket. This will add that particular product into the basket and you would be able to buy the product and then ultimately close it. You do not want to buy any insurance whatsoever, but a feel and an appearance is given in such a way that the graphical user interface is built in such a way that you have to click on this button, assuming for the fact that only when you click this button you will be able to go to the next step. But that's not so. It is designed in such a way that it is acting as a clickbait. It is wanting you to push you, navigate you, make you buy the insurance as well, which is not necessary at all. All that you came is to buy this particular product, but you buy another product or you take up this insurance primarily because this particular graphical interface is designed in such a way that only after you click this button you will be able to go to the next button. That is a dark pattern. Then there is something called as basket sneaking. What is this basket sneaking? You buy a product, let's say you're buying this particular shoes, this goes into your cart. You only want to buy this particular product, or you have to add about 3 to 4 products in your basket. But apart from the ones that you have selected, let's say you are in an urgency to buy a product, all that you want is to buy this particular product and ultimately come to a conclusion, or you have about 6 to 7 in your basket and then you want to buy this particular product and it wants to be dispatched as soon as possible. So you buy about 5 to 6 products, it is in your basket, and the minute you go to your basket you will have another 2 products that are added. Sometimes you see that and you ultimately delete that. But what if you are in an urgency, you are not able to see, you see that additional products are added, and once you get those orders there is this extra products that are also added into your basket. That is what is called as basket sneaking. So basket sneaking is a particular dark pattern where additional products are added to your basket despite you not selecting or adding or selecting that particular product. Then what we have is a subscription traps. What are these subscription traps? Let me give you an example. Subscription traps have to be read with force action as well. What is a subscription traps? Let's say for example, you are visiting a website. This particular website says that this particular website you would be able to read so and so articles for about 3 months, and that is for a free period. So for the next 3 months, in case you're buying that particular service, you want to read an article. Let's say you have ABC website, you have a series of articles that are written on this particular ABC website. So you visit this website for the next 3 months. It says you would be able to read n number of articles for free. So it makes a mention, and after 3 months with your consent, a credit card information they would already take because you have given this 3 months of free access. But after this 3 months they would say they'll take your consent and only then charge on your credit card. So you give your credit card information, but after 3 months without your consent you're forced to pay this 3 months additional information as well as the payment. So what happens? You are asked and you're pushed for, nudged for buying this particular product because it is free, but after 3 months your credit card will be automatically put with a credit. That is, you have to pay a certain amount of money. That is a subscription trap, a trap where you are advised to fall into it because it says it is free for 3 months or 1 month, and subsequently without your consent after 1 month or 3 months you are asked to pay. That is what is called a subscription trap, which happens to be a dark pattern. What is confirm shamming? Confirm shamming is one of the ideas in the dark pattern where you're constantly sent information that you cannot buy this particular product. You're shammed, you are irritated, and they force you to buy a product where they make you feel that you're a person who cannot buy that product. Let's say for example, if you visit some of the highly sophisticated shops, let's say for example, whose product is far in excess than what is in the market, there you would have the marketing personnel. The minute you go there, they give that particular weird look. That weird look is in such a way that they make you feel inferior and that you are a person who would not be able to buy that particular product. What happens offline is happening online through the confirm sharing, where they make you feel with constant emails and the messages that you would not be able to buy that particular product, and as a result your ego gets hurt and you would buy that product, which is called as confirm shaming, which is one of the dark patterns. Then there is forced action. What is this forced action? Let's say for example, you go to a particular website, you want to read an article, you are made to read that article only when you subscribe. Let's say you have to give your email ID or you have to give your phone numbers. You can only take up or read that particular article only after you write or you read and you subscribe. That is what is called as forced action. Then what you have is nagging. It refers to persistent, repetitive, annoyingly constant criticism, complaints, request for action. That happens to be nagging. Then what we have is interface, and this involves taking difficult for consumers to take certain actions such as cancelling. You would have already given your information. When it comes to starting off a service, it becomes very easy to start a service, but let's say you have to cancel the service, it becomes quite complex and cumbersome. So cancelling that particular website subscription will also become quite tough as well. Then what we have is the bait and switch. What is this bait and switch? Let's say you go to one of the websites. This website is showcasing you a watch, it is showcasing you a bedspread, or it is showcasing you another product. You are so liking that product that you buy it immediately. So on the image it looks like the best product, but the minute you get that product, it is a cheap copy of the original product. It might be even a second copy of it as well. So bait and switch basically means that the image is in such a high resolution image that you fall in love with that particular product, but the minute you get it, it is the worst product that you would have ever seen, which is called as the bait and switch. Then there are hidden costs as well. What are these hidden costs? Let's say for example, you want to buy this product. Let's say hypothetically it is costing you about 1000 rupees. Tax will get added, that is okay. Apart from the taxes, there are hidden costs, which is the delivery charges is about 150 rupees, and then packaging charges is another 70 rupees, because you have to because they have to expedite the process. It has to be delivered within one single day. Let's add another 100 rupees. So the product as a whole is not just 100,000 rupees, but then additional cost gets added onto it, which is called as the hidden cost. And finally, we have something called as disguised ads. So while you are looking for a particular product, there are other ads that are showcased constantly on this particular website, which is called as the disguised ads. All these are the part of the dark pattern. So whenever there is dark pattern, it has created couple of concerns. One with respect to the children who are using their parents' credit cards, and at the same time it becomes a constant addiction as well. People who come online, though their original intent was to buy a different products, because of these dark patterns, they are nudged, they are pushed to actually buy some other product. So there is loss to such people, and added to it, constantly there are notifications that are being sent to people which makes them buy a product which they may not require. These are the concerns that are associated with the dark patterns. In order to overcome all these issues, what we have is the Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, which has urged the online users to look into it, and also has drafted some consultation paper. And in case you wish to give some inputs, October 5 is the last date. And added to it, in case they feel there are dark patterns, consumers can also report instances of dark patterns or provide feedback and report such manipulative online practices on the National Consumer Helpline by calling 1915 or through WhatsApp on this number that is given on your screen. So the government, that is the Government of India, that is we have the Department of Consumer Affairs, which has given this information that such dark patterns will have to be ended by the e-commerce operating sectors. When you look at globally, the European Data Protection Board has also issued guidelines on how to recognize and avoid dark patterns on social media platforms. We also have the United States Federal Trade Commission last September warned of a rise in sophisticated dark patterns designed to trick and trap the consumers. So going forward, we have the consultation paper which is already on the online platform. So after this is taken into the picture, the inputs are taken from the stakeholders, we will have the ultimate draft, and this will all speak about eliminating the dark patterns from the online e-commerce platform. So a step has been made by the Government of India, and what we have to do is wait and watch what could be its actual policy. Now let's look into the next article. This article here is speaking about DGCI, which happens to be one of the bodies that is taken which is part of the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. So we have the Drugs Control General of India, which is the head of the Department of Central Drug Standard Control Organization of the Government of India. What is it responsible for? It is responsible for approval of licenses of specified categories of drugs such as blood and blood products, fluids, vaccines and sera in India. The Drug Control General of India comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It also sets standards for manufacturing, sales, import and distribution of drugs in India. It lays down the standard and quality of manufacturing, selling, import and distribution of drugs in India, preparation and maintenance of national reference standards, bring about uniformity in the enforcement of the Drugs and the Cosmetics Act, training of drug analysts deputed by the state drug laboratories and other institutions, and ultimately keeping the check about the drugs quality in the country. So the Drugs Control General of India basically looks at the standard and the quality of the drug that is in the market. Now the Drugs Control General of India has directed the drugs controllers of state and union territories to keep a strict vigil on the sale and distribution of falsified versions of liver medication, Defitelio and Takeda's cancer drug as it is. So because we have the World Health Organization which has said that these drugs also have side effects, that is why we have the Drugs Control General of India which has to quality check a product. It would give all the institutional training to the state departments. It has now asked state departments to stop it and prevent such drugs from being used in the Indian market. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says, how did a China-based hacking group compromise Microsoft cloud security? This is important from the preliminary examination point of view. What I was speaking about, this can be important from your GS3 perspective, which is internal security, where we have cyber security, social media, so on and so forth. It is important from the cyber security front. We have one of the groups called as Storm 0558. This happens to be a China originated attack against sensitive exchange online mailboxes. The attack has exposed several flaws in Microsoft processing of the data. So this happens to be a group which has its origin from China. And what have they done? They have broken the hack. They are the hacking group which have broken the sensitive exchange online mailboxes. We have what is called as the cryptographic key. What is this cryptographic key? Let's say for example there is a sensitive information. This sensitive information is encrypted. What do we mean by encryption? It means that a specific information is encrypted in a form which a other person will not be able to read until and unless they have a key. What is this encryption? Let's say for example there is an alphabet A. Hypothetical example, there is an alphabet B. This alphabet A is written in such a way that it stands for dot, it stands for hyphen, it stands for exclamation. This is the encryption. So an encryption is written in such a way that this dot, hyphen and exclamation stands for A, or for B it can be an exclamation and hyphen and a question mark, hypothetical example. So it is written in such a way that there is a particular code to identify it. If it is A, it has to be so and so. If it is B, it has to be so and so. Only a person who knows this particular key would be able to decipher what this key is all about. So in encryption, an alphabet or a statement or an information is encrypted with a certain pattern, and only another person who knows what this pattern is all about would be able to decipher, get this information. So what is a cryptographic key? A cryptographic key is that particular answer to a question. The question is that there is an information, there is an encryption that has been done. So only when you know what this encryption and the key is, you will be able to decipher the message. So a cryptographic key is a string of characters used within an encryption algorithm to alter data making if illegible to someone without the correct key. So only a person who has the key would be able to read it. A person who does not have the key will not be able to read it. But in the present situation, what we have to understand is two concepts. One is a group called a Storm 0558, which happens to be a China-backed group, and what have they done? They have taken the sensitive information from the Exchange online mailboxes of Microsoft, and what we have to also understand is the concept of cryptographic key, which can be important from your GS paper 3 perspective. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. And as I have told you, for today, the one important article is most of the content with respect to today's article is only with respect to G20. We will come up with an elaborate video which will explain every nuance of G20 and its New Delhi declaration. So this is it from today. In case you're liking these initiatives, please do like, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it with your fellow aspirants as well. In case you want me to take up any of the new topics that you're not able to understand, which are the topics that you want me to discuss, please put it on the comment section as well. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.